Welcome, everybody. Mr. Ocampo, welcome back. Maybe not a little.
Oh, so leading the Pledge of Allegiance is, oh, sorry, we'll be calling the meeting to order today at 6:31. Um, oh, sorry, it's 5:31. Yeah, sorry. Okay, we will then call to order. We did that already. Roll call. Ms. Okay. Okay.
Vice President Ocampo,
Here.
Clerk Jimenez,
Here.
Trustee Guadalupe Gilpus Barrera, Trustee Garcia,
Here.
Trustee Perez.
Here.
Okay. We'll then call the Pledge of Allegiance. Will then be led. We have, looks like we have 5 students. Looks like Ashley. Oh, sorry, from Creekside Elementary, we have Ashley Avila, 4th grade. Alchemy Martinez, 4th grade. Abriel Perez, 6th grade. Damian Perez, 3rd grade. And Celeste Bravo, 4th grade.
Good afternoon. Please stand for the flag salute.
Place your right hand over your heart. Repeat after me. Begin.
I
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. That was very, very nice. That was, I think that was an excellent job by our students. Next, we move on to the spotlight. Do we have any spotlights today?
Yes, we do. The first spotlight will be reported by Monica Anzo.
Good afternoon, Vice President Ocampo, trustees, and community. On November 2nd, at the All In for Equity conference held by MCOE, or Monterey County Office of Education, we were actually recognized for a reduction on chronic absenteeism. So we'll see our recognitions on this side of the boardroom. We were participating in a collaboration with the Monterey County Office of Ed, North Monterey County High School District, Soledad, and I believe Salinas City. And so we were part of that collaboration to create a plan in order to reduce our chronic absenteeism. And so when we started, our plan was in 2021 and 22, a group of our stakeholders from district leaders to counselors, CSEA and ATA created the plan together, and we actually reduced up to last year. We went from the 32% we reduced it to 14.69%. So it was almost a bit or a little bit more than 50% reduction. So it was a effort to be recognized, and so MCOE made sure that we were on stage. Mr. Jimenez was at the conference, and he joined us along with our CSEA President Keiko, and our PPS Director Diana Garcia, who was leading the effort for the district. So that's our spotlight.
Wonderful.
Next, we have a spotlight from Mr. Abbasi.
All right. Good afternoon. About 10 days ago, we received a very good news for the district, and the news is about our credit rating. We use two companies for our rating systems. They provide institutional ratings. Standard & Poor or S&P Global is one of the companies. They raised our rating from A to AA minus. That's a 2-notch improvement in our rating. That's excellent. So far, we have been using Moody's for our rating. That's another company, another agency that provides rating. They had AA3 for us, which is also excellent. This brings both of these rating agencies at parity. It means we have similar rating from both of them. It's a process to gain that kind of rating, and that's a very intense process for these agencies. They go through our financial statements. They conduct interviews. About a month ago, Mr. Koenig and myself, we had an interview with S&P Global. They had lots of questions. We spent about 45 minutes explaining what's going on at LSL, financially, educationally, in the community, and each and everything. This is a reflection of our good governance from Board of Trustees, stability and administration. This also means longevity of administrators in this district. If there's too much volatility, fluctuation, people come and go, that is a negative thing for the district. Luckily for us, we have very stable administration. This also reflects the relationship between Board of Trustees and administration. We have a very good relationship. This also reflects the prudent oversight on finances. Each and every penny we spend is meant for education. It's very much carefully monitored. This shows our ability to pay off the debts that we have, and that means our Measure A and M. That reflects that our audit statements reflect that we are spending all the money based on the purpose they were intended for. What this means? This means that when we have to raise money, if we have to issue another GO bond, it's going to be easier to do that. It also means we are going to get and enjoy lower interest rates. So this is very much like personal credit that we have. Scoring is a little different, but this is a very good positive news for us for this year and in the future. All right.
PIO Melendez has a spotlight to read.
Good afternoon, trustees, superintendent. I'm here to highlight the winners of the district's volleyball and flag football tournament. Our volleyball winners were the Oscar Loya Lions Team 1 because we have two. Their coach is Ms. Lidia Valtierra, who's also a clerk of the school. She's developed the team so high that it now has two teams playing, and they play really hard against Barton. So there was a very nice match to end the tournament. In the flag football category, the Creekside Thundercats were the winners under Coach Rigo Mendoza. The final game, or the Super Bowl, as Creekside Principal Willer Francel called it, was played between Creekside and Loya, and they both put a very fierce fight. Congratulations to all the teams, coaches, parents, and the entire extended learning department. Thank you.
Those are all the spotlights.
Very good. Very good. Thank you for that. We will then move on to the adoption of the agenda. And apparently there's been a staff recommendation for a change. And the change is to table and not consider items 5Q, 5R, and 5S of the consent agenda, dealing with approval of agreements with Delbec and Sons Incorporated for lease leaseback construction of an office annex and warehouse at the district's property at 155 Barton Road. So at this point, I will accept a motion with this change to the agenda.
I would like to make that motion, although it's my belief that when we come to the consent agenda, since those are consent agenda items, and we ask for a different motion, it would be at that time that these items are listed and we can table them. That's the way I understand it. Mr. Koenig?
I think that would be appropriate.
Okay, we'll go ahead and do that then. So then I will entertain then a motion for the approval of for the adoption of the agenda.
I make a motion.
Okay, motion made by Mr. Jimenez. a
Okay,
second.
sorry, so I already made the motion.
Oh,
so
sorry.
Oh,
Sorry,
I'll
Sorry,
second.
sorry,
that's
sorry.
okay. Thank you.
Okay, very good. So then the motion is made by Guadalupe Gilpas, second by Mr. Jose Jimenez. Comments, questions? We'll take a line vote then.
Vice President Ocampo,
Yes.
Clerk Jimenez,
Yes.
Trustee Gilpus Barrera, Trustee Garcia,
Yes.
Trustee Perez.
Yes.
Okay, we will then move on to public comments concerning items on the open session agenda and/or non-agenda items. There will be a 2-minute limit for individuals and a 20-minute limit on total public comments. There is no ceding of one's time to another individual. Individuals wishing to address the Board of Trustees on open session agenda items or other items may do so at this time. We have a starting time of 5:41, and we do have a comment by Senora Solis. Not sure how to pronounce the first name. I apologize.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Serena Solis. I am a fourth grade teacher at Oscar Loya Elementary School, and I am currently here today to speak to the board. I am currently enrolled at Cal State Fullerton and their educational leadership program. And at the end of this semester, next month, I will have completed all necessary coursework to be recommended for a preliminary administration credential. As my fellow cohorts and I are ending our journey and preparing ourselves to become future educational leaders one day, our professors have asked us to reflect on our journey thus far, as well as how we might go about honoring our mentors. And that is why I'm here today. I'm here to address the board, to honor and highlight Mr. Roberto Rodriguez, my mentor and site principal at Loya. I am grateful to Mr. Rodriguez for his expertise throughout this journey. The program has prepared us to focus on the attributes of an educational leader versus management. Mr. Rodriguez is an example of an educational leader. He inspires us, supports us, and empowers his staff to take an active role in our school's progress and achievements. He also allows us to be included in the decision-making process. He is a proactive administrator, which is evident during the day. And finally, as a leader, he is focused on our school's vision, culture, and growth. That is all I want to say. I just want to say thank you to Mr. Rodriguez for his support. And I would like to thank the board as well for allowing me the time and opportunity to honor and highlight my educational mentor. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that wonderful presentation. We then have a ending time of 5:43. We will move on to 2B, which is association comments. Any comments from the Alisal Teachers Association?
Good evening, Vice President Ocampo and the board members. Also, good evening to the cabinet and the public present. So tonight, ATA would like to start the negotiation for with the district for the school year 24-25. And These are the articles that we would like to sunshine. The salary and benefits. And after that, we would like to discuss and update the language in the following articles. Number 3, leave of absence. Number 10, the grievances. Number 11, transfers and reassignment. Number 12, class size. Number 14, negotiations. Number 15, meetings. And finally, number 19, work day and work year. Thank you for your time.
Mr. Salmon, I'm going to be the lead negotiator this year for AT. I look forward to working.
There you go. Thank you. Special guest.
Okay, we will then move on to the California School Employees Association, Chapter 577. Okay, and United Substitute Union, Teachers Union. Okay. We will then move on to number 3, presentations. And today we have a school site presentation. Principal Will Francel from Creekside Elementary School.
Good evening, Mr. Ocampo, Vice President, members of the board, Mr. Koenig, and cabinet members. My name is Will Franzel. I'm the principal at Creekside Elementary School. And we're here tonight to present on Creekside Elementary School. So this is the content of our presentation. We're going to give you our school overview, our current reality, our PLT ideal, some of the gaps that we've identified, some of the solutions that we're working towards, and then share with you our 30, 60, 90-day plan for this school year.
So starting with our school overview, at Creekside, we do have preschool age through 6th grade students. We have a total enrollment of 536 students at our site. Of those students, we have 2 bilingual classes. We have a 3rd, 4th combo, which has 22 students, a 5th and 6th grade combo, which has 23 students, and then our remaining 491 students do make up our 18 English-only classes. We also have 2 special day classes at Creekside, and we do have the communication and social skills program at Creekside, and we have about 12 students in each of those 2 classes. We also have 28 students who are receiving specialized academic instruction through the RSP program, and our school has 23 migrant students. We are happy to report that we are fully staffed from TK through 6th grade. That's awesome news. And we are also supported by our instructional coach, our school counselor, our school psychologist. We have a full-time ESS therapist on site. We are also supported by our Mindful Life Project coach, our reading specialist, 2 intervention teachers, and a district speech and occupational therapist, as well as supported by our amazing classified staff, ranging from our office staff, our library specialists, nutrition services, custodians, paraeducators, campus supervisors, all who help us be Creekside strong. All right, so here is an overview of students at our site who are classified as English learners. Right, currently we have about 33% of our students who are classified as English learners, which make up about 174 of our total enrollment. And here is a breakdown per grade level. So in kinder, we do have 20 students who are classified as English learners, 27 first grade English learners, 22 second grade, 39 third grade, 33 4th grade, 15 5th grade, and 18 6th grade English learner students.
Okay, so we wanted to share our current reality with you for ELA. Our focus this year is really to Tier 1 instruction, so mastery of grade level standards. We do, in the folders that we provided, we did share our SBAC data from last school year. And we were aiming to increase 7% based on our goals in our SIPSA. And we were able to achieve that with our sixth grade class. And so our plans this year are to continue to really support our PLTs with high quality professional learning team opportunities each month. And then also we've implemented goal setting with every teacher, classroom visits, our coaching cycle with Ms. Zavala, our instructional coach, and then innovative teaching and learning, which we're going to share more details with you later in this presentation. Our current reality in math, again, the SBAC data is in the folder if you'd like to review that from last spring. We did not meet our 7% goal last year, so we had a chance to really analyze this data during site meetings, site PD days, staff meetings, and during our PLTs with our grade level teams. And we have a plan moving forward on how to increase our mathematics scores and also our ELA scores. So we're going to continue again to invest in our PLTs because we know that's professional learning that can be taking place every month with our grade level teams and our coaches. And then also the goal setting that we are looking for evidence when we visit classrooms daily and weekly, again, mentioning those coaching cycles, but with a focus on mathematics, and then innovative teaching and learning and collaboration with our district math TOSA.
Now, our current reality as far as English language development, as we had mentioned before, we do have students at Creekside who are classified as English learners. So we would like for them to master our ELD standards, and we'd like to celebrate their progress, right? Moving from English language development level from 1 to 2, etc. Last school year, we were able to reclassify 32 students. Our goal is to reclassify at least 40 students this school year, 24-25. Our plan to be able to do that, one of our strategies is to be able to provide our students with intervention after school. We have an ELD Academy that has already started this school year. It is to be hosted for 14 weeks, ranging from September to December of 2024 with our English learners after school. And we were able to hire in-house. So we have Creekside teachers working with our Creekside students after school. And they are focusing in the areas of reading, speaking, listening, and writing in English to develop those strong English language acquisition skills, all in the hopes, again, of supporting them to be able to reclassify this school year. Also, during parent-teacher conferences that are happening this week and last week, we had our teachers and students and parents collaborate with their English learner goal sheets. So students are setting goals for themselves. Parents, they're letting their parents know what they would like for them to help them with, and their teacher. So we are looking at their data in collaboration with parent, student, and teacher, and setting goals for them. That's another strategy to help our students reclassify. And then also this year during goal setting meetings with teachers, we analyzed English learner data and identified student needs to be able to make sure that they're receiving that targeted support during integrated and designated ELT this school year.
So we'd like to share with you our school culture and PLT ideal. We are collectively committed to provide equity and access to the instructional core every day for all students. The 4 essential questions anchored in the essential standards, utilizing the RTI framework, will drive our decisions around innovative teaching and learning experiences. And just to go into a little bit more detail about what that looks like every day at Creekside. So we join our PLTs for part of the day, and just to check in on our teachers to make sure that they have everything they need to be successful as a grade level team, and they have everything they need to be successful in the classroom. And then we collect evidence from that PLT implementation, focusing on teacher clarity, Module 1. So analyzing the standards by joining the PLTs and then taking classroom visits, going on learning walks and getting evidence, collecting that evidence in the classroom. So we've been doing that weekly and visiting, for instance, we visited 3rd through 6th grade recently. And we're looking for, the evidence that what they're planning for in the PLT is making it back to the classroom. And we're making a lot of progress. I'm happy to say there's a lot to celebrate at Creekside.
So our big idea by grade level, during this 24-25 school year, we are going to work on creating big ideas by grade level in collaboration with our instructional leadership team. And this is going to build upon our work around vertical articulation that we started last school year during staff meetings. We are happy to share that we've already started the school year strong with continuing this goal of vertical articulation. In October, we held a working day for our kinder through 3rd grade teachers, where our goal was to create a cohesive and aligned system using research instructional practices to help build foundational skills across grade levels and ensure that all of our students are acquiring proficiency. So we got together as a kinder through 3rd grade team and actually agreed upon practices that are going to build on each other starting from kinder to 3rd grade. So that way our students don't have to relearn strategies every year going from different teacher to different teacher. They're all going to build upon, and they were agreed upon by our kinder through 3rd grade teachers. And then we are looking forward to holding a separate day for our 4th through 6th grade so that we can have school-wide alignment and progression.
So these are some of the gaps that we identified when we started as an administrative team last year. And we're still addressing them. But again, as I said, things are getting a lot better each month as we move forward as a team. So some of the gaps we identified were continuing to strengthen our school climate and culture. So really building strong relationships and trust with every teacher, with every student, with every family, to continue to strengthen our attendance that we know we just got recognized through the county. I'm happy to say Creekside went from having the worst attendance a year ago to moving up into, I think we got at the top 3 or 4 in the district. So we made a lot of progress, and now we're trying to sustain that attendance. We really focus on socio-emotional learning for all, so not just with our students, but also for our staff and teachers and families. We're shifting this year from more of the operational side of the house to the instructional side. So last year was kind of closing the gaps with systems such as, let's say like the bell schedule or, which classrooms are using which restrooms, that kind of thing from the operational side of the house. And now we're moving deeper into the academic side. We're also focusing on moving from PLT done light to PLT done right. So really understanding that that time is very valuable when teachers have a day to have professional learning and learn from and with each other. As Ms. Mendoza mentioned, we are focusing also on vertical articulation, so strengthening the systems that start in TK all the way up through 6th grade. And then we're collecting evidence daily during these classroom visits. The coaching cycle, as a former instructional coach in Alisal, we really work closely with our instructional coach, and I've seen a lot of progress in every grade level team in every classroom. And then we are happy to share that we have a fully operational innovation lab that has our Lego education that we're using with students. And it's also, we're using our Twig Science, our adopted curriculum, to teach science every day in every classroom with our TK through 6th grade team. So we wanted to share this video with you of the innovation lab that we built last spring with actually some of the students who led the flag salute and Pledge of Allegiance. So we're going to share the video now.
So Raft builds makerspaces in schools to kind of enhance the learning by taking away the traditional sort of classroom feel and look and develop into a more creative space that gives students agency to build, to create, using materials that would otherwise be in a landfill or be thrown away.
So our vision for this space is giving our students an opportunity to be able to not just read about science or experiments or opportunities in books, but have a place to do the hands-on piece, right? The phenomenon have a space where they have the tools ready. Sometimes when we're in the classroom, we don't have the space necessarily to be able to put these things into practice, but giving our students the opportunity and our teachers to come into a place where it's already set up for them. And they're ready to go and they're able to put these experiences into action.
So this is a fun fact. That was my former classroom as a sixth grade teacher 20 years ago, right? And so we did spend time investing in remodeling, redesigning the classroom, and now it's fully open to all teachers that are using it in trimester 2. And we've invested in training. So we took our site PD day a couple weeks ago to train teachers on how to use the lab with both Twig Science and Lego Education and STEM. And so we'll show you one more quick. This is a kind of a fly through of the original prototype that we designed with input from students and input from teachers. And just based on time, we'll just keep moving. We want to talk about some of the solution options that we've really worked co-created with our leadership team. And one of the things I'm really proud of is we did write our vision, our Creekside vision, together last year. It took us almost a full year to write it, but we do now have our vision, and our vision is we are collectively committed to inspire our capable lifelong learners to achieve their social, emotional, and academic potential in our evolving world. And our next step with leadership is going to be to create our mission and our values and to have that posted everywhere around campus so all of our families and students know what our vision, mission, and values are. We've also been recognized as a silver medal for the PBIS, and we're going to aim for I think it's platinum at the top. As I mentioned, we're moving from the PLC Light to the PLC Done Right every time. We've partnered with STEM for Real, which is a fantastic partner that has helped kind of guide us on, as a thought partner, guide us on this mission that we're aiming to kind of shift what's happening in every classroom with the innovative teaching and learning. And then some of the other highlights are we did get Common Sense Education certified for digital citizenship. So that's TK through 6th grade that are all digital citizens, and we're continuing to work with our ed tech TOSAs to keep that strong.
These are some of the events that have happened so far this school year that we'd like to highlight to finish our presentation. On the top left-hand corner is a picture of some of our students during the week where we had a week-long Lego Education demos inside our innovation lab. Lego Education came down and actually led students and teachers through demonstrations of lessons in the innovation lab. On the top right-hand side are students in their classroom working through Twig Science. Bottom left-hand side was our fall festival, which was so successful. It's a tradition at Creekside, so we were very happy that it was very successful this school year also. And then bottom right, we are happy to share, like Ms. Melendez had mentioned, that our Creekside Cougars 5th and 6th grade flag football team are the 2024 champions this school year, led by their coach, Mr. Rigo. So we are very happy to share those highlights with you all tonight.
Thank you again for listening to our presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. Are there any questions from the board? Yes, Senora Guadalupe.
Well, first, I wanted to congratulate the students from Creekside, which good teamwork, 5 of them, and they each knew what they were going to say and did a great job. Thank you for being here. And they're so attentive to the presentation of Creekside. They're all looking at the monitor there, and that I could tell that they're so proud of their school. And so thank you for being here and doing that for us. It was great. I just had one question. I should be familiar with the acronyms, but I'm not. The PLT, Ideal and Implementation, what does PLT stand for?
Yeah, so PLT is Professional Learning Teams. Last year, we called it Professional Learning Community,
Oh.
PLC. And that's a great question. I actually did, in my notes, talk about what the 4 questions are, or the 4 driving PLT. So I can share that with you. Let me just pull that up real quick. Okay, for the PLT ideal. So this is what we ask at every PLT, and we want to see it in every classroom. What do we want students to learn? How will we know if they've learned it? How will we respond when they haven't learned it? And how will we respond if they already know it? And those 4 questions drive all the teaching and learning in every classroom. So if you think about it, the PLT, the professional learning team, we learn from and with one another because there's excellence in every classroom. So how do we build that into systems at our school?
That's great, thank you. And then just one other question. I don't know if you could break it down in percentage or if the district has an expectation as far as how much of a principal's day is in the classroom, but it sounds like a lot of your day and your assistant principal is in the classroom supporting the teachers, correct?
Yeah, that's a big part of our job, right? And we want to be visible, so we want to be in the classrooms, we want to be out on the playground, you know, in the cafeteria. We want to make connections with students, and we want to see what's happening, right? So if we're in our office, you know, the emails will be there at the end of the day waiting, right? So we'd rather be in the classrooms than out on the yard.
Well, thank you so much. It was a great presentation. Very nice to hear.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Yes.
Thank you for that wonderful presentation. Yeah, you had me at teacher clarity because I'm a teacher and I'm always working on that. Maybe admin clarity. We got to look at something on John Hattie style, right? Yeah, thank you for. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, when you got hired, Mr. Frenzel, and I knew you back when you were MCOE and you were the science guy. So I know that I go wherever he's going to land, that school is going to be science based all over. And thank you for all that. It looks wonderful. You know, one of the regrets that I had as a principal was not getting that Lego land in the Lego lab in my school, because I did visit Greenfield and they had it up and running, and I thought, wow, what a model. So I'm very happy to hear that you have that going. And you know, I don't know if every other schools have it, but do you know of that? I'm
So
sorry.
thank you for the kind words. And you know, we're actually building kind of the roadmap right now that can then be shared across the district on how to unpack the Legos and how to use them daily, right? So it started out kind of with the summer program idea and extended learning, and now we can use them in the core day. We just need to have a plan, and we're still building that plan this year, so we'll be ready to share by the end of the school year.
Very nice. I think one of the things I just had a question. I know your attendance rates went up. How about like climate? How's that going as far as just, do you know offhand suspension rates, if any? Can you talk a
Sure.
little bit about that?
Sure. Yeah, I would say school climate, we have a lot of evidence to say that it's continuing to improve. Last year, we had quite a few suspensions, and this year, you know, we have 2 so far. And so it's improved quite a bit. The attendance is going up because we actually worked with the Monterey County Office of Ed to get kind of to the root cause of what was behind students not wanting to come to school. And based on that work, we realized that, you know, really focusing on climate does definitely improve attendance, right? And that's bringing more joy back to school. So in every classroom, every day. And when students are happy and wanting to be in class, they'll show up. And so we're really focusing on that, bringing joy into every classroom and that deeper learning, that innovative teaching and learning.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah, I just wanted to congratulate the young people for the great job that they did with the flag salute. You guys were fantastic. As Guadalupe indicated, you're very well organized and you're focused, and I could understand every word that you said. You guys are really good. Also want to congratulate your principal, Mr. Frenzel, for being out and visiting teachers and, you know, keeping an eye on you guys during the lunch hour. I think that's phenomenal. You know, I hope you keep doing that because that's really important. And I mean, I know you can't be out there all the time, and every now and then you have to, you know, be in your office talking to people. But I appreciate, and I'm pretty sure this board appreciates the fact that you're out there looking and being visible. Also wanted to congratulate you on all the great things that you talked about, I guess, and everything sounds really great. The only, well, I won't call it a negative, but I guess problem that not just your school, but many of our schools are having are the math scores. That seems to be, I don't know if I can say district-wide, but it's real common. The board hopes to see growth in that area in the years to come. So thank you very much to both of you for your presentation today.
Thank you.
We now will continue with, we have a presentation. This is Educational Services Division, Safety Plans, Training and Drills, Deputy Superintendent Monica Anzo.
Good afternoon, Vice President Ocampo, Superintendent Koenig, trustees, cabinet, and community. Again, my name is Monica Anzo, and I'm here to present the Safe, Secure, Positive Learning Environments in the Alisal Union School District. I will be going through the components of the comprehensive safety plans. And I also want to acknowledge that although I'm doing the presentation, I'm part of leading the effort in the sense that Ms. Garcia from Cooper Personnel, she works with the assistant principals when it comes to developing and reviewing the plans and updating them. Mr. George Anzo in maintenance operations, transportation, security, and safety is also part of the leading this work. And then we also have our risk manager, Angel Cante, that supports with Keenan, our insurance, supports with workman's comp, and if there are any incidents, and he gets the incident reports, and he makes sure that our facilities alongside with Mr. Anzo are safe. So it's a collaboration between educational services and our business department. And obviously the sites. Oops. So the purpose of the plan is, the key word is comprehensive. It is not just focused on one type of safety drill, but it's a comprehensive plan, and I will go through the components. It aims to provide a safe and secure and positive learning environment for all students and staff. And it is actually a part of, it's a part of compliant that we have to make sure that we abide by the state law and best practices in school safety. So it is a legal requirement. It is part of the Ed Code. Each year we have to develop, review, and update the plans. And we have to make sure that it's aligned with anything that comes up that's new, and then we have to ensure that we bring it to the board to approve the plans. And that usually happens in February, and we'll go over that timeline. So the plan has certain objectives. It's to promote safety and well-being of all students and staff, not just physical, but also emotionally safety, emergency preparedness. There should be clear communication, and then legal compliance, which we have to abide by that Ed Code. Key components of the plan include prevention and mitigation, emergency preparedness and training, emergency response protocols, and recovery. Component number one is the prevention and mitigation. This is where we have to make sure that we have a threat assessment team. So that can be as simple as in the morning when our day custodian comes in at 6:30, they ensure that the campus is safe. So they're looking to see if there was any kind of intruder coming in and doing any kind of graffiti on the walls, from breaking into classrooms, making sure that the campus is safe so that by the time students come around, everything's taken care of. And the custodian, they're part of the maintenance team. So if there's something that happens, they know their protocol, they call their supervisor, and then there's a team out there immediately to take care of the problem. So that's just an example of how simple it could be. Is we have that part of our routine, a daily routine, as soon as somebody comes in. Our anti-bullying and social emotional programs are also part of our safety and preventive efforts. We all have a visitor management log, so all our visitors come into our buildings, including the district office, is sign in, sign out. We have building security. So we have, all our campuses are closed campuses. There are points of entry that are open for a few minutes in the morning so that parents can come and drop off their students, and close as soon as school starts, and then open again for a few minutes after school so that parents can pick up their students, and then close immediately so that we keep all our students that are in the after school program safe. We are also putting surveillance systems in. So we have 6 schools that have a surveillance system and 6 in the process of getting a surveillance system. And then we have staff and student training that we have to make sure we do every year and throughout the year. Emergency preparedness and training. So we have emergency drills, we have the safety training, and then we're using the current Big 5 protocols so that our students and our staff learn what to do in case of an emergency, and we'll quickly go over those in a minute. We have an emergency response, so that's part of the plan. If you need to look at a plan, we can provide you with, but that's part of our plans. We have an incident command system, which has to be adopted by each school. At our school sites, the incident commander is the principal. They are in charge of their building. At the district level, it is the superintendent. We have evacuation plans that are required to be posted at each site, at each classroom. Principals review those with the staff at the beginning of the school year. We have student accountability systems set in place during our drills so that when in case of emergency, we know what to do. And then our parent communication, so a clear process of notifying parents in case of an emergency or procedures that we have in place. So we are using, again, the Big 5 protocols. Monterey County Office of Education has been offering these trainings. So there are 5. We have a shelter in place. Give an example of a shelter in place happened last week during the after school program at VRB. There was a fire close by to the school. There was a lot of smoke. So the incident commander, the principal and assistant principal made the decision to shelter the students in place so that they would be protected from any hazardous material in the air. Drop, cover, and hold, which is our earthquake drills. We practiced that in October throughout the district, throughout the county. We have a secure campus. I'll give you an example of a secure campus. If Salinas Police Department calls and says, we are going to serve a search warrant near your school, please secure your campus, then we secure the campus. We make staff aware, we make parents aware that this is happening. Lockdown barricade is when there's an active threat on campus. And then evacuation is for any kind of fire, bomb threats, and those are the ones we practice. Even when we do the earthquake drill, we practice evacuation. So recovery is one that we sometimes don't mention, but it's part of our process, and you can find them in our plans. Anytime after some kind of traumatic event, we know that Ms. Garcia and her counseling team will be out there to support the site the day of the event, the day after, or as long as they need to. So they're there to support staff, students, and parents. Debrief and evaluation. So after every incident, there should be a debrief. The principal meets with their staff, or at the district level, we meet with staff to see what happened, what worked, and what didn't, and what can we improve on. I'll give you an example. After every drill, the principal might get on the intercom and say, thank you, boys and girls, for doing a good job during our evacuation drill. It took us 3 minutes to make sure we were all quietly outside. We took roll. So that's an example of just a quick debrief even with the students. Facility restoration. During storms, sometimes there are a lot of emergencies, the winds, the storms, and things need to be repaired. So that's another way of making sure our students are safe. There are sometimes incidents where there are break-ins, and it happens the day before school starts. At night, Mr. Ansel will have a team out there making sure that the classroom's cleaned up and ready to go for students to learn the next day. So that's another example. Community communication. So we ensure that we share whatever is happening, safety, any incident, we share with our families and our community members. And then technology restoration. Sometimes that's where we have the safety incidents. There was a time where we didn't have internet. Last year, there was an incident about 3 or 4 days, but Mr. Villarreal made sure that we had ways to communicate so we can ensure the safety of everybody. So technology and communication systems, we have alert systems, we have our intercom systems in which we can talk to our staff. We have our phones, and we can use our intercoms on our phones to talk to our staff. Communication devices, we all have access to mobile radios or walkie-talkies. At a school site or any incident commander will have 2 radios. And why? One is so that I can communicate with people on campus. The second radio is so I can communicate with the district office. So it has a maintenance channel, and I can, if there's an incident and we're trying to communicate, I can communicate with my staff that is supporting me, that I can also communicate with maintenance to make sure that I make them aware of what's happening. And then a family notification system. We work with our PIO if we need to have an all call, or the principals also have access to their all calls. And those are the robocalls to families or a text message. So the annual review and training schedule, we have to make sure that our plans are reviewed annually, and that it also includes a training calendar for our drills, as we shared earlier, and then where there's always room for improvement. I know that sometimes we participate in the earthquake drill in October, but we have to make sure that in the spring we practice another earthquake drill, especially living in California. Roles and responsibilities, we have to make sure that as we are developing our plans, we include roles and responsibilities such as district safety committee members. So we have a district safety committee team. It's district administrators and our bargaining partners. We have a school safety committees also, where they're site administrators and staff, and then an emergency response team. And this is just to show you some data of who participated during the Big 5 training that MCOE had on October 9th and 10th. We had assistant principals, we had educational services directors, business service department, our risk manager participated, our social workers, we had a board member participate. There was a debrief on the training on October 16th. Our team also attended the threat assessment training on November 6th. And now we have an opportunity to attend a school safety tabletop drill December 10th. And that's just so that we can practice scenarios. It is through MCOE, but it'll take place at Monterey Peninsula Unified School District. So next steps for the team. On November 8th, the District Safety Committee had a meeting. There was a debrief on the November 6th threat assessment training. They would welcome new members, and then establishing calendar for regular meetings. We want to encourage families to be involved through the parent meetings and information sessions when our school committees have these sessions, when it comes time to review the plans. School safety committee participation, and then resources on safety procedures. So the principals do those through their parent meetings. Again, this is a piece of compliance and communication. So we have to document all our drills, our incidents, our training sessions, and our plans to review insurance of compliance for future reference. So if you go to our schools, we have 2 different binders. There's a binder, they're red. And so one is for the fire drills. Our fire chief will go and check to see if we're keeping up. So the documentation needs to be in place. And then we have another one for any kind of emergency. Again, our day custodians are in charge of checking the facilities. They have a form to make sure that our facilities are in good condition and safe for students and staff. If not, then they report that to maintenance, and they take care of that safety issue. And incidents, any kind of incident at a school, we have a process called our incident reports. So the principal or whoever is reporting that incident that happened ensures that all cabinet, our risk manager, receive that incident report in case we have to do a follow-up. So here's a timeline for our plans, which is starting now. Our assistant principals begin the annual review of their plans. So anything that needs to be updated in our plans. December 13th, our principal and assistant principals will review their site plans with School Site Council, add any recommendations. from the school site council by the 7th, February 7th of 2025. They should present the plan to staff, parents of school for public opinion and adopt by school site council. Then these should be signed so that we can send them over to MCOE and then bring them to the board for adoption. So again, I started off by the purpose of the plan, and in summary, I will go back over the purposes. The Alisal Union School District's comprehensive safety plan aims to provide a safe, secure, and positive learning environment for all students and staff. And it outlines our protocols for responding to emergencies, preventing incidents, and ensuring that the district is compliant with state laws and best practices in school safety. Questions?
Questions or comments from Mrs. Anso? Guadalupe, Gilbas?
One of these days, I won't say anything, but anyways, thank you. Thank you. That was there's a lot of information,
Yes.
so much information. And it makes me think of, these 5 things that everybody, well, that we're talking about, right? The big 5, and they're listed there. But I would say that for the students, they're not worried about earthquakes. I mean, we have to have those drills. They don't think about fires and those things that do happen that could cost our lives. To me, the big one is the bullying, the bullying, because I would venture to say that a big percentage of our students do suffer from somebody bullying them. And I think that's the one that all of us as a team have to work on and keep working on, because it's happening more. That's what the students are suffering from, are the bully and the students. I hope we focus mainly on that one. I remember hearing a board member at another district being very emotional, and it's not that you'd expect board member kids to be special or nothing like that, but even as a policymaker, it's something that in that school district, her grandchild had to move out of that district because they couldn't control the bullying. So it's big, it's important. We need to keep working on that one, I think. So I wanted to make that point on the bullying. I know in the high school district, they have conflict resolution, CRTs, they call them, and those work. I mean, I was a facilitator as a volunteer, and it's the students that, if someone's bothering you, you could put in a piece of paper with your name, and then you meet with the student, and the students help each other resolve their conflicts. Now, kindergartners wouldn't be able to do that, but maybe the upper grades, and it can help us. And sometimes it's in the upper grades, I believe, that more bullying that comes to the extent with students even harming themselves, committing suicide over that. So it's something for us, I think, maybe to talk about as a board, but thank you for that. A couple of other points. Also maintaining the secure entry points in the schools. So who has access to the gates? Who unlocks them?
The custodians. So the custodians have their master key, so they can lock all the gates. The principals do too. So there's a schedule. Usually, if you are at any campus right before school starts, the campus gate, there's one point of entry that's open so that they can drop off their students. Parents like to walk their students, so we want to also be welcoming, right? So we also want to have that sense. And then at a certain time, then the gates close. So as soon as school starts, you start seeing the gates are closed. You hear over the radio, please close the gate. It's time to start instruction. And so those are locked. 5 minutes before school is let out, the gate is also again open so that parents can either go pick up their students, or the students have a way to leave. And then they're closed again because we have kids for after school.
And thank you for saying that. So what would be, and this is a trick question. So what would be the average number of gates in a school? Let's say we have a school and something happens at lunchtime and all the kids are out there, and there's one custodian to how many gates? Are there side gates, like, or is it just the front gate? And that's leading to maybe shouldn't the campus supervisors who do security, should they have a key? I don't know if they do or not, or just something to think about. Or what if the custodian goes to McDonald's during the lunch hour or is not there? Who else can open the gates? And I think that that's something also, because we're gonna be teaching the kids they need to run. Well, what they run into the fence, then what? You have to climb it? You know, it's just things to think about as you were talking. And I know it's big, there's so much, you know, to do on that, but which leads to how often do maybe the campus supervisors get updated on the safety policies? So why do we know that?
So one of the things that should be happening is, and it's part of the plan, is that and it's usually the assistant principal, that's why we mentioned the assistant principal, is they work with the campus supervisors. So they should be having their monthly meeting with them. And it usually happens after the lunch recess where you have most of your campus supervisors there. We do pay them that 1 hour that they stay, and that's when safety is reviewed. When things happen, maybe a debrief of like, I noticed that we're not paying attention in this area, because it's also trying to keep them safe from each other, right? And when
they're
it's
the ones that,
unstructured play.
and they're the ones that are out there in recess, you know, while the teachers and classified take their dessert breaks. It's usually the campus supervisors. I think that and they probably are updated. I just don't know how. I'd be interested in knowing, you know, that about their meetings. And then my last, let me see. Yeah, that was it. Yay, I'm finished. But thank you. Good presentation. This is a big, you know, having the kids secure and the plan. We have to keep our minds on it though, because all the other schools where incidents happen maybe thought it'll never happen here, and it did. And so we do want to be prepared. I'm glad there wasn't anything here, or one of the 5 wasn't mountain lions, because didn't they mention that a while back, that we have to protect ourselves from mountain lions? But in all fairness, wasn't there one in Old Town not too long ago?
Yes,
So,
and then,
you know,
but what did they say is shelter in place.
There you
So it's
go.
one of the big 5.
thank you so much.
Any other questions from board members? Beatriz, any questions, comments?
One question. What about the map? Are the students, I mean, I'm pretty sure there's a map in every classroom, right? Does it show like if there's a fire? Does it show if there's an earthquake? Does it show, do you guys teach them that, show them that?
So each classroom does have an evacuation map. And during the drills, when they practice the evacuation, they know where to go. So most schools use wherever there's an open area, this is where we're evacuating to, and this is where you go and stand with your teacher. Now, if there's other direction that we have to give them, teachers should be saying, okay, we're gonna need to move farther, and because each campus is different and the layout is different, then when you look at each individual plan, it'll show where they evacuate to, if they have to leave the campus, where they go to, what they have, the assistant principals and the principals have to identify 2 different areas where the students can go to, and then how to reunite them with school staff and families.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Leticia Garcia?
Sorry about that. Yeah, thank you for this. You know, you're speaking my language here, right? The safety. And I was looking at this, well, what board member went to the training? I think it was, you're talking about me, right? Okay. No, but yeah. So every time I had all these questions, and every time you went through your presentation, I kept crossing them off. So I was going, okay, good. Thank you for answering all my questions. So I know that the biggest one, probably to practice in more sensitive nature, is probably the lockdown barricade one. All the rest of them, they're probably pretty standard procedure, but a lockdown barricade, you have to be really sensitive, especially with all the different grades, right? The 6th graders are a little bit more, and don't know what they're doing, where the kinders probably cry. So I think, what's the plan with that? Are you leaving, or is it up to the sites to decide when they're going to practice the lockdown barricade, and are parents aware that you're going to be practicing on campus, stuff like that?
So each school comes up with their drill schedule. So part of the drills should be lockdown and barricade.
So
they
does
come up
every
with their
school?
schedule. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, because I think one of the things I suggested, I think even there, you know how every year we practice in October we practice earthquake drill because I think it's because of the October 17th, 1989 earthquake. So our school, our county decided to make that, you know, one thing that we practice. I don't know if picking a day out of the year and deciding that, hey, we're going to practice lockdown barricade throughout our school district might be a decent idea to put in practice. I don't know if that's something that might fly, but thank you. Like I said, I wrote down a lot of questions, but every time you turn the page, you answer them, which is wonderful. I really like that. So you talked a little bit about incident commander. And I know that, you know, yes, if the principal's on campus, tag, you're it. But if the principal's not on campus, I'm assuming the VP would be it. And I'm assuming the VPs and the principals sometimes are out together. They're not always on campus, so I guess they have to have a plan of who would be the incident commander in case they're not there. But what about after school? So I've talked to Mr. Fausto a couple of times because I'm really interested in the after school program. And I don't think he's here, but issues happen all the time. And so I asked about, well, who's the commander there? And I know that there's a teacher lead, so I'm assuming the teacher lead would be the commander if both vice principal and principal off campus. And I'm assuming they leave close to 5 versus staying till 6:15. Am I correct in assuming that the teacher lead would be the incident commander?
Yes, and
Okay.
that's why Mr. Fausto went to the training so that he can train his staff
Right.
that is working on what the safety protocols.
Yeah.
So yes, if the assistant principal and the principal are there, they're the incident commander, no matter if there's a lead teacher, because
Right.
they're responsible for the safety of all students in the building, right?
But they're usually not there till, I mean, I'm assuming they leave at 5-ish, right? Now that they have a teacher lead, why would you ask the principal to stay till 6:15 or 6:30?
Yes.
I think that's the reason why we ended up with the teacher leads and Edmond Olivo staff after school. I'm assuming that
So yes, so
yeah,
the teacher lead
would be the incident commander.
it would be the incident commander, and then Mr. Fausto and Ms. Pulido will be in response. So there's always also a cabinet member that they can contact, and if there's an incident, then Mr. Koenig is as a superintendent, he's the district incident commander, so they'd contact him.
Mhm.
And if not, then they know, okay, well, one of the other cabinet members or even Mr. Anzo.
Yeah, and so like, when the district that I come from, we have to sign disaster worker forms every year. Does this school district sign disaster workers that we pledge that we are all disaster workers in case there's a disaster, that we all have to say in that note that we can't leave? We're now disaster workers in case there's a disaster
I don't
issue?
think so.
No? Okay, thank you. I was curious
Yeah.
because I know that Edmond Olivo staff aren't, I guess they work for the district, but in my district, they wouldn't be considered disaster workers because they're not necessarily district employees, but
The lead teacher's a district employee.
Right.
They're subs, so they're considered
Yeah.
district employees.
yeah, yeah. So thank you. I'm just looking over my notes. Yeah, so the other thing, I mean, for tonight, we have it on our board policies that we're updating that our school plans are going to be reviewed by police, fire, and other emergency responders. Where in the plan does that happen?
Yeah, at the end of once it's
So
reviewed,
once the plans are
are completed.
completed and given over to the district office,
So before that,
okay. So each site, so each principal's responsibility to have
That's
the
their
safety
signatures.
plan reviewed by the police, fire, and other emergency response.
yes.
Okay. I just wondered, because I think I read the policies that we're updating in today's board, and I was looking at that and I said, oh, okay. I thought maybe they happened after, but, so you're saying that
So they should be, so ideally, they should be all completed before they're board approved.
And
So-
reviewed, because it called out reviewed by police, fire, and other emergency response.
It's not it's not a requirement that I submit it to them first so
Uh-huh.
that they can review. But we do have the fire chief that comes over us a lot, right? We don't even realize how often they're coming in. So that's who will help us review the plans even beforehand.
Okay, and that's one of them, right? Because it said police, fire, and other emergency responders. I read all of the what we're reviewing, and I was going, oh, okay, good. I didn't realize that. When I was a principal, I used to only review it with the fire department, not so much police, but I'm glad to see that we're calling that out, that we need to look at that those are another set of eyes, right? To look at what we are, then as a board, we are approving every year in, is it March? Or when are
So
we
right at
approving
the
it?
end of February, so whatever, once we have the schedule out for your board meetings, then there will be a date.
Okay. Well, thank you, and yeah, I think that's it. And I do appreciate that LSL sent all their assistant principals to that Big Five, because it made so much sense for them to be there, and so that they can come back and train their staff versus, other school districts did what they did, but yeah, so thank you for that.
Thank you.
Mr. Jimenez. Any questions, comments? Okay, yeah, the only question I had, I'm curious about, I know you said that we have 6 surveillance cameras, I guess, in 6 schools. And I know that, I'm pretty almost sure that we don't have somebody who's actually sitting there watching that TV monitor, from 8 to 5 every day. So I'm curious, how does the monitor get viewed? Is there like some sort of plan for the viewing of it? Does someone check it every hour? Is there a procedure? Is it just, sort of, if someone just happens to look at it, but how do we organize the viewing of the monitor for the surveillance cameras?
So if there's an incident and we have to go back and look at the camera, what was recorded, then we'll do that. Someone doesn't sit there and watch who's coming in, who's coming out. So that's not the purpose. The purpose is for after, if something happened, can we see what happened? So it's not necessarily monitored, it's more surveillance.
So if there's a fight, then you go back and you see who started the fight or who hit who.
So I'll give you an example. There was vandalism in one of our schools that does have the cameras. I think maybe last month, they came in and really harmed the school gardens. And the principal went and looked through the video. There was pictures, he was able to take screenshots of the young people that were in there vandalizing the garden. And he went to the local middle schools and high schools and actually found who vandalized the gardens. So that's an example of how that we used it.
Okay, yeah, I was thinking that just as a suggestion, or just a suggestion, that, because I guess you also don't want unwanted intruders coming in. So it might not be a bad idea to set up some kind of system where somebody not all day, periodically is monitoring screens, just making sure who's coming in and who's going out. Because if there's an unwanted intruder in real time, then we need to know about it immediately. And I know we're not doing that, but that's a suggestion. I'm not saying it because I want to scare anybody that someone's going to come in, but you just never know in these times. So it's a suggestion, something to think about. I think for kind of a future possible direction of the safety committee. So thank you then, Senora Anso. Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
We will then move on to number 3B, which is any board member reports. Oh, yes, Senora Garcia.
No, I'd just like to say happy holidays, because I know we're not going to be here for Thanksgiving. And I'd like to just thank all the farm worker families that are finishing up their season and moving on to maybe Yuma or other parts of the country. And we have a lot of our farm workers have their students in our schools, and I just wanted to thank them for feeding the world and feeding us. So thank you to them. That's all I have to say.
Thank you so much for that, Senora Garcia. Any reports from our superintendent?
Yes, I have 2 items. First of all, I want to introduce Mary Beal to the board. If you'd stand up. And up till now, the board has only aware of Mary Beal because she's been discussed when she was appointed. And she was also on the personnel report at the last board meeting. But she is the new director of leadership development and accountability. Welcome. And everybody knows you exist now. Okay, and the second item is a personal announcement. I just want to make sure that everybody understands that I'm going to be retiring at the end of the current school year. At 72 years old, it's time. I've got to find something else to do, and my wife's been making a list, so I'll get right on it as soon as I retire. There'll be plenty of time between now and when I leave in June of 2025 for the process that's going to take place to ensure ALISAL will have the best superintendent in Monterey County for school year 2025-26. Until that time, I'll continue to be your superintendent. I appreciate all the hard work that's been done and is being done by ALISAL teachers, classified and confidential employees, and students every day. And I ask you to continue your professional efforts during the upcoming transition and beyond. And lastly, I just want to thank in particular our Board of Trustees for the continuing support and confidence that you've shown me over the past 5 years as your superintendent. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you, Mr. Koenig. You will be missed here at the district for sure. I don't know if any other board members wish to make any comments.
I would, I personally, I'd like to thank you, Mr. Koenig, for your integrity, for your strength, for your guidance in moving ALISAL forward, and you will be missed, and I do appreciate you announcing so early. You didn't have to do that, but thank you so much for that, because that does give us plenty of time to find your replacement, and I know 72 years young, okay? You're not old, you're young, but thank you so much for all you've done for this school district. I'm speaking for myself, but I'm sure the board also shares that.
Okay, yes, Senora.
You're gonna
Lopez.
love retirement, Mr. Koenig. You're really gonna love it. You have an incredible reputation in the school district. You stuck out with the hard times that we had a few years back, and you have always kept the numbers positive for our district, and we need funds to have the schools run well, and you've done a great job with that, and also as our superintendent. So I'm glad you're going out with a bang, with a good reputation, and we wish you all the best. And who knows, you might unretire someday, and we'll see each other again. Who knows? But we wish you the best, and you will definitely be missed. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that, all of you. We will then go on to number 5, which is the consent agenda, and we will be, there's a recommendation from staff that we table and not consider items 5Q, 5I, and 5S, dealing with approval of agreements with Delbeck and Sons Incorporated for leaseback construction of an office annex and warehouse at the district's property at 155 Barton Road. So I will entertain a motion with that recommendation in mind.
I will make the motion to approve the consent agenda and accepting the tabling by the staff of items Q, R, and S.
Okay, motion made by Senora Gilpas.
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Jimenez. Any comments or questions from the board?
No, it was Ms. Garcia.
Do you have a question?
No, it was Mrs.
I
Garcia.
second it.
Oh, I'm sorry,
That's okay.
my error.
That's fine.
Second by La Senora Garcia. I apologize. Okay, comments or questions from the board? Okay, Mr. Koenig will take a line vote, please.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did have a question. We're on the consent agenda.
Please go ahead.
May I, I'm so sorry.
Yes, no
Um,
problem. No-
Vice President Ocampo, yes. It's item number 5I, the subscription to Bullseye by Martin Luther King Jr. Academy. I didn't know that we hire consultants to help us with the walkthroughs. Is that what this is?
No, it's not a consultant, it's a digital tool.
Okay, so can you elaborate a little bit on that,
Yes, so
please?
so when a principal is doing a walkthrough and they want to give teachers feedback, they take a little note and they'll leave the feedback, or they have to send something on an email. So this will help the site leaders when they're walking through the classroom, and they can give immediate feedback and it'll go into the teacher's email.
Oh, that's great, because I was thinking, why MLK and not the other
No.
schools or everything? So will this be, so this particular principal is asking for that? The other schools can pick their own method of getting the information out to their teachers?
So actually, he approached the Ed Services and said, can we pilot this? And we're considering this so that we can give immediate feedback, see how this works, and talk to Mr. Koenig, and said, okay, go forward with the small pilot for his school and see how it works.
That's great, thank you. And thank you for allowing me to go back, Mr. Ocampo.
Okay, I think we're ready then to proceed with a line vote, Ms. Koenig?
Vice President Ocampo,
Yes.
Clerk Jimenez,
Yes.
Trustee Gilpus Barrera, Trustee Garcia,
Yes.
Trustee Perez.
Yes.
Okay, very good. We then passes unanimously. We then move on to item 6, which is business services. Action A, resolution number 2425B, beyond bonding authority to include Buckhorn Early Learning Center new construction project. We'll entertain a motion for this.
Make a motion.
Motion made by Mr. Jimenez, a second. Second by
I'll second it.
seconded by Mrs. Garcia. Comments, questions? We'll take a line vote.
Vice President Ocampo,
Yes.
Clerk Jimenez,
Yes.
Trustee Gilpus Barrera, Trustee Garcia,
Yes.
Trustee Perez.
Yes.
Okay, we move on to 7, which is human resources. We have A is a public hearing. Alisal Union School District articles for negotiations with Alisal Teachers Association. We will open this public hearing up at 6:51. And we will close it at 6. Oh, I'm sorry.
I did, thank you. Thank you
Yes.
so much. So my question is just, I know that the president, Mr. Pastoriza listed, I think like 9 articles. There's like 9 articles that the teachers are gonna open for negotiations, but only 3 for the district. How many can the district open and why is it only 3?
This is a new contract, so the district can open all the articles, but we've only identified issues that we have that we want to discuss with the Alisal Teachers Association that regard 3 of the articles. And we can also discuss with them items that are under the articles that they've sunshined.
So then when it's a new contract, is the number of negotiating items unlimited?
Yes, the whole contract is subject to negotiations.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, very good. Now we will then close the public hearing at 6:53. 7B is public hearing. Alisal Teachers Association, ATA, articles for negotiations with Alisal Union School District. We will open at 6:53. And we will close at 6:53. 7C is an action item. It's a second reading. Job description of nutrition services trainer lead. I will entertain a motion.
Make a motion.
Motion made by Mr. Jimenez, second. Second by La Señora Perez. Comments, questions? We will take a line vote.
Vice President Ocampo,
Yes.
Clerk Jimenez,
Yes.
Trustee Gilpus Barrera,
Yes.
Trustee Garcia.
Yes.
Trustee Perez.
D, action item is second reading. Job description for Human Resources Specialist 1. Motion? So moved by La Señora Gilpas, second.
Second.
second by Senor Jimenez. Comments, questions? Line vote.
Vice President Ocampo,
Yes.
Clerk Jimenez,
Yes.
Trustee Gilpus Pereira,
Yes.
Trustee Garcia,
Yes.
Trustee Perez.
Yes.
E, action item, second reading, job description for nutrition services warehouse men lead. Entertain a motion.
Make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Jimenez, a second. Second, La Señora Gilpas. Comments, questions? Line vote.
Vice President Ocampo,
Yes.
Clerk Jimenez,
Yes.
Trustee Gilpus Pereira,
Yes.
Trustee Garcia,
Yes.
Trustee Perez.
Yes.
F, action item, variable term waivers for the 24-25 school year. Will entertain a motion.
Make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Jimenez, second.
Second.
Second by La Señora Garcia. Comments, questions? Line vote.
Vice President Ocampo,
Yes.
Clerk Jimenez,
Yes.
Trustee Gilpus Pereira,
Yes.
Trustee Garcia,
Yes.
Trustee Perez.
Yes.
G, action item, provisional internship permit, PIP, 24-25 school year. Entertain a motion.
So moved.
So moved by La Señora Gilpas.
Second.
Second by Senor Jimenez. Comments, questions? Line vote.
Vice President Ocampo,
Yes.
Clerk Jimenez,
Yes.
Trustee Gilpus Pereira,
Yes.
Trustee Garcia,
Yes.
Trustee Perez.
Yes.
We will move on to administrative services. Action item, second reading, revised board policies, administrative regulations series, philosophy, goals, objectives, and comprehensive plans. Will entertain a motion.
Make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Jimenez, second.
Second.
Second by La Señora Gilpas. Comments, questions? Line vote.
Vice President Ocampo,
Yes.
Clerk Jimenez,
Yes.
Trustee Gilpus Pereira,
Yes.
Trustee Garcia,
Yes.
Trustee Perez.
Action item, second reading, adopt new board policies, administrative regulations series, philosophy, goals, objectives, and comprehensive plans. Entertain a motion.
Motion.
Motion made by La Señora Perez, a second.
Second.
Second by Senor Jimenez. Comments, questions? Line vote.
Vice President Ocampo,
Yes.
Clerk Jimenez,
Yes.
Trustee Gilpus Pereira, Trustee Garcia,
Yes.
Trustee Perez.
Yes.
Action item conference, California Association for Bilingual Education, CABE 2525, March 26, 29, 2025 in Long Beach, California. Attendance of board members. Motion. So moved by La Señora Gilpas, second.
Second.
Second, Senor Jimenez. Comments, questions? Line vote.
Vice President Ocampo,
Yes.
Clerk Jimenez,
Yes.
Trustee Gilpus Pereira, Trustee Garcia,
Yes.
Trustee Perez.
Yes.
Number D is information, proposed 2025 regular board meetings calendar. And there are some future agenda items for you to look at. 10 is future meeting dates, December the 11th, 2024, regular annual organizational board meetings. We move on to 11, which is public comments, closed session, agenda items only. There will be a 2-minute limit for individuals and a 20-minute limit on total public comments. There is no ceding of one's time to other individuals. Individuals wishing to address the Board of Trustees on closed session items may do so at this time. We have a starting time of 6:58 and an ending time of 6:58. I will now adjourn to closed session at 6:58. After a 10-minute break, closed session will begin promptly at 7, what is that? 10 minutes. 7:08, yes. Thank you.
¿Quién es el señor que está al lado de Mitterrand? ¿Quién? ¿De qué? Oh, Luis. Oh, okay, okay.
Oh. Trying to stay awake. Hi, guys. Sorry? Oh, thank
Y,
you.
les, y, la, y la señora del board member, del otro que era superintendente, de Mr. Del anterior a Mr. Koenig, su esposa. Oh, la semana que entra.
Good to see you. I'm not sure what's going on anymore. How you doing, sir? Good. Look at your mic.
Okay, now we will now reconvene to open session. Time reconvened at 7:52 p.m. There's no reportable action, so we will adjourn the meeting at 7:52 p.m. Thank you, everybody, and good night.